Opening bell, you can hear it ringing right now, and pretty soon we will be off and running on this Friday morning. Here you go. It's 9:30 Eastern Time, and we are now trading. The stock market has opened lower. No surprise there. We were expecting it to come down, and so it has. About a half percentage point lower for the Dow Industrials, and there's a large majority of the Dow 30 in the red, being sold. The S&P 500 also on the downside. The score there is a minus 0.60%. The Nasdaq Composite on the downside to the tune of 1%. A bigger percentage loss there. All the big techs are down. Apple, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft on the downside this Friday morning. The meme stocks are back, and so is Susan Lee. Hey, welcome back.
Good morning. Yes. So, am I a meme stock now?
No, you're the meme stock lady.
Okay.
Tell me about Weber, Grill People. Is that now a meme stock?
Yes, apparently. But then you have to talk to me about this butterfly
straddle?
That's right, something like that.
A confusing strategy in the commodity markets.
Right. I can talk about MACDs and some of these other technical trading algorithms as well, but we'll
I'll
save
be
that for
happy
later.
with the meme stocks.
So let's talk about froth coming out of the market in all meme stocks because of that debacle from Bed Bath & Beyond. So Thursday's rally, and Weber, single biggest day for the barbecue maker. It was up 26% in one single session. But then, after you heard about Ryan Cohn dropping his 9% stake in Bed Bath & Beyond, and that's when you saw Weber really tank as well. And 55% of Weber stock is being shorted right now, 50% of the outstanding float. And that's how you pick these meme stocks, right?
That's why it's a meme stock.
That's
okay.
right. So you look at these outsized short positions in some of these, shall we say, smaller names like Weber, and that's when the Wall Street bets and some of these Reddit traders pile in because they're trying to shake out the shorts. That means they have to buy back the shares when the stock goes up, and that's why we've seen a lot of these really predictable names, I would say.
Would you be, I don't mean to get into debate now, but would you be critical of Ryan Cohen?
Well, what about
moving the stock up so much, selling suddenly, and the little guy's left holding the bag?
I know you're going to talk to Dave Portnoy in just a bit, so I would love to hear what he thinks about this perceived pump and dump. But he did hold it for 5 to 6 months. He did try to wrangle some changes, and I think it's really up to the individual retail investor. If you're going to trust and put money and buy into a stock because you have belief in a single individual, I think you're not doing your homework. So that's up to you.
With you.
I think it's a free market, free will system, and that's why we love this capitalist society that we live in.
Yes, we do. All right, moving on to some of the companies which reported before bell this morning. I'm looking at John Deere down 2%.
Oh, by the way, just getting back to the meme stocks, there was also this talk that they were popular and this trend emerged because of zero interest rates. Interest rates are back up to 3%, and we still have a lot of people piling back into these meme stocks, which to me suggests that there's just a risk-on trade that people are already pricing in, maybe a rate-cutting cycle that's upcoming, so more free money at play. Right. But getting back to Deere and some of the earnings, inflation again hurting the bottom line of the tractor maker. They try to raise prices, not enough to cover costs. You're getting punished in the market for that. They missed on profit, beat on sales, and look, the full year is not looking great when they're paying more for their items and their parts.
You should see how much the price of a tractor's gone up, or a gator, or one of those things. They're straight up, I'm telling you.
But I heard you said that they are fantastic machines.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, love them. Yeah. Drive them all the time if I possibly could.
Yes.
Foot Locker.
Spiking.
Now, that's not a meme stock, is it?
No.
It's behaving like one.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of a meme stock type of rally that you're seeing today. And that's because they got a new CEO, Mary Dillon, who's coming in from Ulta Beauty. Smaller drop in same-store sales. Those comp sales are actually better in the springtime, and profit came in above estimates. And Dillon, she's great at e-commerce, and that's kind of the future for Foot Locker, especially you have Nike and Adidas now selling direct to consumer, so you have to really amp up when it comes to online sales.
Applied Materials?
That's right. AMATI, as I call it, supplying services to chip makers, sales and profit beating here. It was up in the pre-market and after hours yesterday, and I can imagine that, they're saying they're going to make more sales with chip makers, increasing their production, partly because of that $52 billion CHIPS Act that Congress just recently passed.
I see Home Depot They've got a stock buyback program, and
Huge.
the board approved of it.
Oh, you wonder if they're trying to get ahead of that 1% tax.
Exactly. I'm
on
just going to
share
say that.
buybacks.
Yeah.
So $15 billion, you can do the math there. 1% is pretty significant, I would say. And they're also increasing their dividends to $1.90 a share, and that's pretty generous. Now, last year, they also bought back $20 billion. And there's also a management change, so the new CEO, Tim Decker, stepping in as chairman. And this is after that strong spring quarter that you reported on. And it's interesting that housing is now in recession, but, you know, it looks like Home Depot still says that we are selling a lot of goods out there.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of other companies jump in now with a stock buyback program
Of course.
to escape the 1% tax that's coming at you at some point in the future.
So Apple has about, what, $100 billion in stock buybacks each year? Well, maybe not each year, but
No, it's
significantly,
close.
tens of billions, I would
I hear
say.
it's $500 billion worth of stock buybacks in the last 15 years.
That's correct.
Enormous.
Yes. Enormous. So it's almost about $100 billion. And that's kind of why Warren Buffett bought him. But you do the math on 1% of $100 billion. Now, do they actually pay those taxes? I think we'll see.
They want to make them try.
It depends on where you're domiciled.
You're my crypto lady.
Yeah.
What's going on? They're all down this morning.
Okay, so sudden drop to sub 22,000. You have 3-week lows on Bitcoin. Really, everything dropped in a 10-minute window. And there's talk that maybe there's liquidation on futures in Bitcoin. But crypto trades along with tech stocks. And when there's concern of higher rates, a more aggressive Fed, that means money dries up and selling takes place. Also in cryptocurrency. Ether, by the way, and I saw this on vacation, it's up 100% since those June bottoms and way outperforming Bitcoin so far in this recovery.
It is. Okay, that's cryptos, meme stocks, and everything else combined.
The meme lady and the cryptos.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Meme and crypto lady. You combine the two, why not?
Why not?
We'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Check that big board in business now for 6.5 minutes, and we're down 139 points. Are there any Dow winners? Yes, of course there are, and here's the list. Topping that list is Merck. Then we have Johnson & Johnson, Amgen, Home Depot, United Health. That's the Dow winners. S&P 500, Davita. I do not know what Davita. Any idea what Davita?
No idea on that.
I could Google it, but I'm not.
GM, though, just announced a big
Yes.
buyback.
And they've got a big dividend.
Correct.
They're restoring the dividend,
That's
I think.
right.
That's General Motors. Okay. What did you say, producer? Davita is healthcare. Now I know. Fast on the Googling there.
Yes,
ladies.
that's
Well
right.
done.
Very fast.
Ross Stores, Amgen, Excel Energy, Gilead Sciences, American Electric Power on the NASDAQ.